welcome to NasCanucks, presented by Vibraprint, your auto racing podcast live here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. I'm Ben, he's Doug. We're talking Bristol, baby, and a little bit of Laguna Seca. Yep. Lots of, that's what, 5 races over the course of 3-4 nights. I don't know.
Yeah.
We forgot all about the doubleheader, the ARCA trucks doubleheader that took over from the modified trucks doubleheader.
Yes.
Which we did see the sweep last. It's interesting. I remember that sweep last year by what's his nut there? Sam Meyer.
Yeah.
And because I thought that was really cool. And you know what? He shouldn't have bothered showing up.
He kind of did the double again.
He did. Double last place finish.
Second verse, same as the first.
Yeah.
Actually, third verse, same as the second and first verses, because one lap of practice, one lap of ARCA, one lap of trucks. You're going home.
So, leading off would be the ARCA series, which it might as well be the ARCA Super Duper series, because they finally they're like, we have the ARCA National Series here, the ARCA East, the ARCA West, which honestly I kind of like that, because the East and the West are basically nothing but short tracks, or K&N series. But the idea is you could basically take that same car, move up to ARCA's National Touring Series with the same equipment. And it's not like they really have pit stops anymore or anything. So basically your cost goes up, but you're going to bigger tracks, getting more exposure. So I really dig that.
Yeah.
So just on that. So basically, again, 8th race, same as the other 7 races. But young Mr. Gibbs.
Yeah.
Put on a show. It wasn't like he completely dominated.
No, but he
led a
did.
lot of laps, but it wasn't like he was lapping the field.
Yeah.
And when he did try to lap the field, the crew chief went, "Whoa, let's just bring it in. Calm down there, buddy."
Yeah.
So, that was it was good race. The great thing, you got 16-year-olds, you got 65-year-olds.
Well, yeah, as I said, it's like actually it was it 14 to 63 was the age gap.
And the 16 was the youngest, maybe 15. No, 15.
No, okay, because there was one kid who wasn't old enough to actually drive on the street yet.
Right. Yeah, the 15.
Yeah.
Hey, Guitar Man 45 and Terry's 3Gs. So it was a lot of good action there. And like I say, young Mr. Gibbs, and he gave the flag away. I'm paying attention now all the time. Who does? Who doesn't?
Yep.
Gave the flag away to a little girl there. I'm like, oh, she's gonna have a crush on him.
Yeah, and how about the double burnouts?
That was cool. Cool.
Because
I like how they're like, how'd they figure that out? And it was just Phil Parts iRacing.
Yeah. Because is it Sam Smith for JGR winning the East Series? Title. I think the National has 1 or 2 races left.
Something like that, yes.
With Ty Gibbs in the leading points for that there as well.
Right.
I think it's just
they don't do stages and they don't do playoffs.
It's is it not just Gibbs and Heim for the title, because everyone else is like 1,000 points behind.
And 1,000 laps behind too.
Yeah.
So young Mr. Gibbs wins, and then that led us into later in the evening in the truck series. Which was their playoff cutoff, I think. This is the last race to get in before the playoffs started.
Yes, yeah.
At first I didn't think there was much of a...
their playoffs have already started. That was race 3.
Oh, right, yeah. It was the other series, the next series that it was the last before. So, this was the cutoff race.
Yes.
They're already at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And it looked like they showed it on paper at first. I was like, dude... It's 2 trucks battling for 1 spot. But being Bristol, they just shook it up a bit. And by lap 30, all of a sudden, it's a 4-truck battle for 2 spots. And I'm not going to say I was really hoping somebody would take Rhodes out at the end of the race and knock him out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. But, we got a Gilliland kicked out. So
yes. So, hey.
He's like, I did not see that one coming. And I was like, neither did I, but awesome, it happened.
Yep.
Of course, he doesn't see a lot of stuff coming.
No.
And then, which we thought, third race, same as the first two, Sheldon Creed, just dominating. He won 5 of 6 stages in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And John Henry Nemechek, good to see him back at it.
For sure. Yeah.
Right up front. Because because all of a sudden we're like, like I said, Nemechek, give him the title. And all of a sudden the playoffs started. He went somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Where? And then Sheldon Creed's made a real playoffs out of this, I think.
Yep. Yeah. And
what was it? Chandler Smith?
Chandler Smith, yes.
Won his way into the next round.
Yep.
Because he was kind of borderline there. I think he was on the outside looking in.
Yeah, he was on the other. He had to win that race. Right.
And he did not give his flag away, but I give him a pass because it was his first career Truck Series win.
Yes.
So if he wants to keep that flag, and he did, you saw it, he got the flag, he took it right over to his team, and he said something like, "Don't lose that."
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so either he wanted to keep it or it's spoken for. One or the other.
Yeah.
But so no problem with that. He was crying, as I recall.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. And and I will say towards the end of the race, Kurt Busch was getting a little hometown calling. We accuse a lot of the NBC and Fox broadcast booths of being Hendrick fans, but Kurt Busch was just a fan of his brother.
Yes.
Sure, he did a little, that's the Busch ingenuity and spirit, and he just Busch, not Kyle Busch, but just Busch.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mind that,
No, not at all.
It wasn't coming across as cocky, really, and he's driven the equipment. We know that, and I think, and let's be honest, it was Kyle that really saved Kurt's career in many ways because it was Kyle that put Kurt into Monster Energy sponsored.
The KBM 54.
Yeah. So that, it's good to see. Good race. Stuart Friesen advanced.
Yes. And Mr. Austin Hill did not.
Nope.
Which then probably pissed off Scott Zipadelli even more with Friesen advancing and Hill not.
Well, yeah, but once again, Hill had problems right at the end of the race, like blew a tire or something.
Well, did he not come down on someone? It was his own fault.
It was, but I was like, oh, well, there you go, buddy. Yeah. So
my thing is, of
course, you won't hear from Zipadelli ranting about that until probably later today because he knows we've already spoken because he's afraid. Hey, Charles 75N.
And I'm gonna say the post-race stuff started at the Truck Series. I'm not sure if you really caught it. Sheldon Creed's picked up the Dumbass of the Race Award or the Playoffs Award. I'm not sure if you caught his at the end there. He made a little comment. If I was to say to you, what is one owner in NASCAR that you don't want to show up? That's not your owner.
Rick Hendrick?
He's right here.
Oh, yeah, Truck Series.
Truck Series. Kyle Busch. So he goes, and in his interview, he says, that Ford team, they know who the fastest truck is. Okay, tell Kyle Busch that your equipment isn't good enough. Because he's the one guy that's going to say, okay,
let me just pour another bag of millions into the team.
Yeah, let's go here. We'll throw this down.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Like that's.
And I'm not even going to start on the conspiracy theory that, as we know, Joe Gibbs Racing supplies roughly 40% or more of the pit crews now in NASCAR by leasing out. Like they have a whole pit crew school infrastructure. Yeah. It's like a company, like a pit crew company that we start up a team and we're like, we think we need good pit crews. So we would go to them and say, hey, we want to hire pit crews, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, and putting together little teams, as you will. And, KBM, they can get the best of the best if they want.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not, if I'm putting on the foil hat, that's what I'm saying. Joe Gibbs, he supplies 40% of the pit crews who say the best of the best aren't automatically on the Gibbs teams.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But
Which is fine if you lock him in for a year. I really hate this. Oh, Carr's out of the race, so we're going to take 2 guys from this pit crew and merge them into this one. Mm-hmm. No, you can do that as a result of injury. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Especially if you run over your own pit member, no, park it. That's your own damn fault.
Yeah.
Somebody else hits one of your crew members, maybe you get a member off their team. No, you'll probably sabotage.
Yeah, that would be
just spitballing. So so trucks, there's a little bit of that. So that brings us into what, Friday night, I guess?
We go Friday night, yeah.
So Xfinity, which I'm going to say was probably the race of the weekend.
I will say the finish of the history
of any NASCAR race, regardless of series.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because really, quite honestly, that's all I remember of that race.
It was a big enough finish that I talked about it on my show last night on my other channel. And speaking of which, you were getting some props last night on that show from Charles 75N himself, because he was saying how he gets to hear Greasy Weasel at the start and finish of all your shows.
Yeah. It's changed its name for the other show, but yeah.
What was it, Squeaky Squirrel?
Yeah, it's kind of like that,
yeah. You just turn up the speed a little.
Yeah.
So, Xfinity race. Again, a variety of people leading. I did get to see some karma. Actually, you know what was right up there with that finish? Austin Cindric. I always say Tim.
Yeah.
His post-race interview when he's getting booed.
Yep.
And then
he gets a confused look on his face.
Because all of a sudden they're cheering, but he doesn't realize because it's when he just stated how the car got wrecked, that's why they were cheering.
Yes.
And he thought, I just turned the fans. I went from a heel to a baby face. No, you didn't. Like most Penske drivers, you misread the room. So, basically, it was just a variety of this, that, and the other guy throughout the race. Good, hard racing, like I said.
And, I got to say, congrats to Sam Mayer for lasting more than a lap.
Yep.
Just saying.
He even led.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And then who was the other guy? He stayed out near the end there and but he was hanging on. He did a couple times in the race, and young guy. He's in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Or I was trying to get in the playoffs.
Yeah. His name like I said, that whole rest of the race is just those last.
Yeah. So basically, it got down to not just a green white check, but there was a caution or two shortly before that.
Yeah.
And so, which bunched up the field, and then I swear it was a Talladega finish. It wasn't even a Daytona finish. It was Talladega because they were 3 wide.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and banging, and then
because 12 tires grip better than 8.
Oh, and then 2 guys sideways across the finish line.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
And it comes down to the 2 guys that are going for the regular season title, going down for that race win in that last race, because they were only like 1 or 2 points difference.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And wasn't it? I was trying to think. Wasn't it Cindric's spotter that said just went bump and run?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have people are rubbing into me. Well, you do the same thing every week, Bubbaloo. So shut your trap.
Exactly.
Yeah. More on that with an honorary Penske driver coming up in the next race. So. Yeah. So it ended up coming down to who were the 2 at the fit? What was it? Allgaier and Allmendinger?
Yeah, it was all. No. It was Allgaier
and Cindric, right?
And Cindric. Yeah, it was those 3 guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cindric did the stupid thing. He tried to take someone out the wrong way. You know, because all AJ has to do is turn left, and you're going to plow him across the start finish line in front of you. Yep. AJ knows that. He's been in the hunt at Talladega and Daytona, so he has no problem winning a race on his roof if that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, like at first, it had to be shades of that hot summer night, with Davey Allison and Kyle Petty at the All-Star race.
Yeah. When people keep and we talked about it before, people keep talking about Craven and Kurt Busch at Darlington.
Yeah.
I think this one here, even though it wasn't as close as that one, this one here kind of was like, hey, that's nothing.
Yeah, they ratcheted it up because they were full-blown slideways going across the start-finish line. And I don't know if it's ever happened before where you had to wait on the victory lane speech due to the driver having to hit the infield care center.
Exactly, yeah.
First.
And even
which, ironically enough, where is victory lane at Bristol, Doug?
Right on top of the infield care center.
Yeah. Because and I remember when I finished watching a race, I just texted you and I said, yeah, good luck at getting that car into victory lane.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be sitting on a flatbed in victory lane is how that's going to work out.
And I'm going to say right now, because Lionel's already announced it,
yeah,
I'm going to say that win diecast of AJ Allmendinger sold out.
Yeah. I was going to say, you know what? I haven't bought a diecast in years, let alone a new diecast in decades. But I would buy one of those.
They are going to attempt to try.
Yeah, good luck.
They don't really have to do anything to it. It's just, here's an empty box.
Just throw it down a rock slide.
You know what? It's going to be the proverbial, there's a steering wheel in the box. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Exactly. So, that was, what a hell of a finish. And other than, Cindric being incomplete, what happened? Why do people not like me? Dinger, he's just getting more and more popularity week to week too.
Oh yeah.
And so it's great to see. I'm rooting for him. Because I usually do. Like,
he's just out there having fun.
He's kind of taken over the Elliott Sadler role in the series in many ways.
Yeah.
The wily veteran, and I'm fine with that. Cool. I was a Sadler fan for that reason in many ways, because I was like, sure, why not keep racing if companies are willing to back you and teams are willing to hire you, what else you got to do except sit around in the lazy boy?
Mm-hmm.
So might as well. So good on him. So that was the last race to get into the playoffs and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's set. Whatever. There's a bunch of them because we're already 18 minutes in. Let's get on to Saturday night.
Yes. And another one where, the finish makes you forget about almost the whole rest of the race.
Yeah. And by the way, during the NBC broadcast, did they just use the same clip twice of Dale Jarrett throwing the helmet?
No, he had a different grip the second time.
Okay. Weak ass both times. That was just...
Yeah. Well, he's throwing it at Kyle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Who throws a helmet at Kyle?
Yeah, no one.
Danny Hamlin. There was that incident at Sonoma. That was the one time that
that was Kyle going down to Denny's car, hopping in going in the driver's window and then slamming Denny's visor down.
That too. Yeah, I just remember that was the one time because he and Wally Dallenbach, previously Wally Dallenbach was the in-race reporter, but they talked to him under caution. And for some reason, NBC decided to get on Kyle under green flag conditions at Sonoma. And he's out there in the 45 car, and he just gets dumped in the hairpin live on air by Denny Hamlin. And they didn't have the mute quick enough. He turned into Yosemite Sam is what I'm saying. And I went, woo! I just became more of a Kyle Petty fan now.
Well, and Kyle has said that before. He said that, all the time, he's just a calm, doesn't get excited about anything. But as soon as you put that helmet on, he's like...
And that was the last time
a different person.
The in-race reporter. Other than having a driver designated there as. So, so we get into the Cup race, and all the guys that we basically said to keep an eye on, including Brad Keselowski.
Yep.
And we mentioned Kevin Harvick, we mentioned Hamlin, we mentioned Truex. I mentioned Chase Elliott because I figured he was due, of course, Larson. And basically that was your race. Those guys.
Yep.
Mixing it up.
Yep.
Throughout the race, Chase Elliott is bumping people out of the way for 17th all the way up, through the field. Bump and run. Or nudge and run at the very... Let's say nudge and run, right? Oh, you got to do that because it's Bristol. Bristol's back. Well, someone seriously got his panties in a wad because he didn't win the race.
Oh, yes. Because he got moved out of the way.
Yeah. By the second wiliest veteran in the field, and after Kurt Busch was knocked out, the wiliest veteran in the field.
Yep.
So, and I say knocked out of contention by Kurt Busch because he had something happen and then he was running 17th. He was kind of locked in at 17th.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
17, a couple laps down.
Yes. Yes. Because once again, we have old time racing where there's a lot of cars, a lot of laps down. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, and it was coming down, and we had Elliott and Harvick and Larson. That was kind of the three. And they're all racing, running in lap traffic, which was great. And Harvick gets under Chase, gets the tailpipes on the left rear, Chase cuts a tire. I'm surprised he didn't spin it on purpose.
Yeah. Because
that's the kind of guy he is. He gets back out and he decides I'm just going to be the blocker now.
Well, and the other thing is like he was saying, like,
and he tried to use up Harvick when he got his lap back, the one lap back.
Well, yeah, and he's like, oh, well, like I had the fastest car. I wasn't trying to block. Well, if you had the fastest damn car, why were you not pulling away from everybody?
Yeah, exactly. How was Larson able to catch up to Harvick if you were faster than Harvick and Larson? Yeah. Don't give
which is funny because I've seen all like the social media since then. It was like, everyone's like, oh, well, Chase was justified in doing it. Well, okay. Where were all you people that were bitching before about Ross Chastain doing it for Kurt Busch at Atlanta, I believe?
Yep.
Here's the same thing. Oh, but it's fine because it was Chase Elliott.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So Kyle Larson ends up winning the race. Shock.
Yeah, and then I had shades of Harvick and Kyle Busch.
Yes.
At the end there, where they're kind of doing the cat and mouse, where Harvick was like...
Actually, you know what I was hoping for? Harvick and Biffle.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because one thing Harvick does is leaves his helmet on.
Yeah. Well, and that whole thing was, like if you look at it, when they both get out of the car, Harvick is on him right away.
Yeah.
Right?
And what I liked was security went, okay, you two deal with it. We'll face the crowd and keep everybody back.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And then except for, just had to be the gas man, Chase Elliott's gas man. All of a sudden he's behind Harvick and kind of holding him back.
Yeah.
Which
and then one of Harvick's guys
put your hands on another team member like that, you should get cold cocked in the side of the nugget.
Yeah. Because then one of Harvick's guys went in behind Chase. But you see when Harvick came up to him, Chase right away put his hands up.
Yeah.
To give him the push. And then once he's seen that guy going behind Harvick,
then
once the cavalry comes back, then he's got the finger in the face and he's kind of going at him. And I'm really surprised that Harvick didn't do a lot more. But then again, it's once everyone got there.
I think he didn't because he was wearing the helmet too, because then you look like the guy fighting the guy without the helmet while you wear the helmet.
Yeah, and Chase was trying to be the, like, oh, once people are there, then let me at him. But
yeah.
So that was round one.
So then round one ends. We get to see Larson's French stretch victory lane thing.
And they talked to both guys.
Victory lane anymore speeches. It's always on the front stretch.
Yeah, and then they talked to both guys.
Yeah,
and Harvick and
both guys.
And
which
and
they
Elliott's
talked to
like
Harvick first, and Harvick did call him a chicken shit, which was awesome.
Yeah, and then Harvick was ready.
So yeah,
ready to rip someone's freaking head off.
For over a minute. Actually, we're not monetized anyway. So yeah, chicken shit Chase going forward.
Yeah, and Harvick is like, I'm ready to rip someone's freaking head off. Like he was, like,
I believed it.
He was wild. And then they talked to Chase. He's like, oh well, I don't know. I was just, I'm going to race people the way they, that they race me. It was
he's been wrecking me all year. Basically, he was saying. I'm like, when have you two even been around each other on the racetrack?
Well, exactly.
So, yeah. Which, whatever, Chase. And I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, you dumped one of your best friends, Ryan Blaney, on the Roval after using him up repeatedly. and then you finally bashed him out of the way. It was the bash and run.
Mm-hmm.
You just took him right out. So don't give me that bullshit, because yeah.
So
I
then
don't think either one of them are going to win the championship this year, because if Harvick's out of the playoffs,
I don't think Harvick needs to
Chase at some point.
I don't think Harvick needs to be out for him to dump Chase.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
So
that was round 1. Then they all of a sudden cameras pick up round 2 back in the hauler area.
Kind of, backstage area.
Yeah.
We'll call it. Yeah.
And you could tell there was Harvick's
basement guitar superstar.
One of Harvick's his manager was with him there, the guy in the white shirt.
Yeah.
Which you could tell by his expressions, Chase was throwing a lot of shit.
Yep.
It's like
I was reading the body language.
And you could see Chase going like, "Oh, I don't do that. I don't, you're doing that to me."
There's a lot of hand talking, I noticed.
Yeah. And a lot of laughing by Harvick.
Yeah.
And then Harvick, because every time Harvick went to try and walk away, like, "I'm done with you," Chase would try and bring him back to say, "Oh, it's not, trying to save face and like, oh, don't dump me anymore because I'm gonna have a chance to win. You ain't got a shot now." But
nope.
But then and then all of a sudden Harvick, out of the corner of his eye, poor Jordan Bianchi.
Yeah. Which, in all fairness, he could possibly have a huge scoop on his hands here.
Oh yeah. So
because
then also
he was probably catching audio too.
Oh yeah, he was. Cause I actually seen his video.
Okay.
So he was catching some audio, and so he was sitting there, and then all of a sudden he, like I said, he caught Harvick's eye. Harvick went over him, started hammering on him, and then as I think it was Moody I heard say yesterday, he was like, "Oh, Bianchi takes one for the team because you got Nate Ryan on the other side in the shadows getting the same video from the other side," right? So, but yeah, it was kind of funny, and then it was funny. It was like, and then Harvick kind of basically said, "It was like, oh, here, takes Chase by the hand." It was like he had the little kid, right?
Yeah.
It was like he had like what's his daughter's name was Piper. It's like he was taking Piper and bringing her into the hall. Like, "You've got to come in. I'm talking to you." And they go into the Napa hauler, and it was kind of funny.
Dumb move by Chase. You never let a competitor into your hauler.
Yeah, especially a pissed off Kevin Harvick.
Yeah,
into your hauler.
Because I was expecting Harvick to do a Jordan Bianchi. All of a sudden, as he's talking to Chase, he pulls out his phone and just starts filming everything. Ooh, we don't have shocks like that. Yeah. Click.
But yeah, it's but yeah. So it will be very interesting to see. Like, there's all of the Chase fans like, "Oh, Chase is, he's the best. He doesn't do anything wrong."
Right. So yeah, and Larson wins another race. So imagine that. And so that brings us into, before we look ahead, that brings us into IndyCar, the penultimate race of the season. They were at Laguna Seca, which is, I don't know about you, but it's one of my favorite tracks. Just for the corkscrew alone.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, they had, 25th anniversary of Zanardi with his, I'll just straighten her out, which, ironically enough, we saw happen. And do you know who did that move?
I was kind of thinking. I was thinking, if you're saying that, it's going to probably be Jimmy.
Yeah, Roman Grosjean decided he did not care if Jimmy was already in the corkscrew when he dive bombed him on the left-hand side, which punted Jimmy, and Jimmy went, "Oh, I guess I'm going across. I'm pulling Zanardi." He didn't really have a choice in the matter. And so it was great to see after a year away from there. They were back there. Apparently, sadly, the animal population 2 weeks ago went down significantly during the test session. Approximately 24 or more squirrels were taken out during. And during the race, a rabbit decided to cross the track at 2 corners past the corkscrew, and that's a flat out portion. And that rabbit did not make it across. Well, half of it did. So, yeah. So it came down to largely the Colton Herta show, son of Brian Herta, 2-time winner, back-to-back winner, in fact. So they had that storyline going, even though it's not back-to-back years, it's back-to-back races. And here's Herta out front, help the championship basically was coming down to two drivers at that time, Pato O'Ward and Miguel Poulot. Haha, international names and everything. And good, strong count, I think 26, 27 cars again. But Colton Herta ends up winning the race and now has, at age 21, more career wins at 6 than his father, Brian Herta, who, one of the rare occasions, Brian Herta being the race engineer for his son, which, you NASCAR folks, that's the crew chief.
Yes, yeah.
There's race engineers and team engineers. So, yeah, so that was cool to see. And they announced the schedule for next season. Toronto is back on the schedule, which is nice to see. 17 race schedule. And the finale this year is at Long Beach, which I think goes back to be the opener next year, because it was a delayed thing, which actually made sense at the end, because you ended at Portland, Laguna Seca, Long Beach. You're just headed down the coast. So that wrapped up real nice. And so, yeah, it was good to see. Good racing. Jimmy Johnson, damn competitive, especially by the end of the race. Excuse me. I think he finished new career best at 17th, because he had twice at 19th. He was flirting with 18th last race, but then taken out. Jimmy did up. I don't know, but he seems to be having fun, and he's like, "Hey, I get to run Laguna Seca." So exactly. So on to that. So no, we're looking ahead to what, Las Vegas, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
All 3 series.
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
All right, so we'll just preview the Cup, guys. That racetrack, I still think it's all like flat, like a huge Richmond. But
it's the cookie cutter. It's the cookie cutter again. Which,
yeah, it's like a miniature Michigan, I guess, like a mile and a half of Michigan, because it's a D shape, but it's the banking's up more now.
Yeah.
Or did they do one of those? Hey, let's just raise the banking on one end.
I'm going to say it's almost like a typical SMI track.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, where NASCAR had to create an entire new rules package just for those tracks.
Yeah. So one guy I hear him called in, and it was like, dude, as Moody says most of the time, your submarine's got a screen door when you're with this here freaking argument you're making. He was all upset that that NASCAR was going to Gateway next year, right? Or Worldwide Technology
Raceway,
Raceway, yeah, whatever. And he said that Kentucky should be back on the schedule because Gateway is just too small of a track. They need to have, and Kentucky is a mile and a half.
Isn't Gateway a mile and a third?
Well, this guy was actually from Kentucky, so that was why it was as well too. But he was trying to make his argument, just saying that, well, Kentucky is a mile and a half, and it's like, yeah, it's a cookie cutter one that's exactly like every other mile and a half track. It's a D-shaped oval that we have a million of, right?
Yeah. The only way you can make a D-shaped oval entertaining is if you got like 30 degrees of banking at one end and 12 degrees at the other. Yeah, like Texas. It's not quite D-shaped. It's quad oval, whatever. It's Charlotte. It's Atlanta. Just with different corner radiuses. Radii. Ha-ha. Here's my engineering word for the day.
But yeah, so and NASCAR put out their schedule for next year as well too.
Yes.
That's
including the Coliseum race, which is actually asphalt. Now that Clint Boyer, Jamie Murray, and William Byron. They were doing the virtual around there. Yeah, it's Bowman Gray. Yeah.
And they are thinking of doing an open stuff so the rest of the teams can come as well. Have a couple races to get people
do it like the All-Star race. Have an open and transfer a couple of drivers in.
Well, they're doing because it's only a quarter-mile track. They were thinking about having just 20 cars and then having a couple opens, like heat races, to have those people transfer like one or two guys.
Yeah, that works.
But
Why not?
But yeah, so if you look at the schedule, there's some people that are not happy because they're going to LA. 2 weeks later, they're at Daytona.
Right.
Then we're going back to Auto Club, doing the Auto Club Vegas Phoenix.
Which Auto Club is still not reconfigured.
No, they held off because of COVID. So
right. And then
so
we're going again because of COVID.
We're going California, Florida, California.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah.
And the other big things was Coda's back on Bristol Dirt. They are still going to do the dirt. All-Star race back in Texas the week before the 600, so it goes back to its regular scheduled week.
But a hassle.
Yeah. Then with the second Richmond race being August before the playoffs, so Richmond is now out of the playoffs again. Daytona is the cutoff for the playoffs.
I hate that.
So the playoffs now is going to be Darlington, Kansas, Bristol, first round. Then Texas, Talladega, Charlotte, Roval, Vegas, Homestead. So Homestead goes back to the almost end of the season.
Sure.
Homestead, Martinsville being the last cutoff, and then Phoenix for the finale.
Martinsville right at the end. They just really like to flirt with snow in Richmond, Martinsville.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Martinsville will be.
We had snow in Atlanta one year, so.
Martinsville will be October 30th with the finale in Phoenix November 6th.
Really? That's 2 weeks earlier than normal.
Yeah. There's less off weeks. I think. I read somewhere where I think.
Well, I don't need off weeks.
Oh no, we
used to have a few more off weeks, but there was testing and this and that and the other thing, right?
After Sonoma, I'm looking here. They're going like every week. So once June 26th hits, we ain't stopping. We're going straight through till November.
Sure.
So
yeah, because traditionally it was like Easter weekend they'd have off.
And they are racing Easter weekend.
Good.
I think it's Martinsville. It's either Martinsville or Richmond will be Easter weekend.
Cold.
Yeah.
I don't like cold races. Just think of Autumn Colors Classic up Peterborough just freezing my ass off.
So yeah.
Start out in the sun with a t-shirt and shorts. By the end of the night, you want to wear a skidoo suit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you would take a winter coat to sit on for the first part of the night.
Yeah.
Then bundle up. So looking at Vegas, who's your pick for Vegas? Your boy, Truex? KB?
Going Kyle Busch.
I never pick a driver for their home track.
Kurt Busch won there last year.
I didn't pick him.
And I'm seeing this here. My phone is ringing right now.
Yeah.
I don't care that I have a warrant out for my arrest. Okay? Stop. It's like fifth time you've called me in the last hour.
Just tell me, ask if they're in Sector 5. Freaks them right out.
Yeah.
So, that's what I do. They stop calling. So, yeah, Sector 5 in Delhi.
Yeah.
So, no. Bombay? No.
No. There was that one because it's going to whole freaking telemarketer call because it was that show that CBC did where they had that person in I forget now, Karachi. Had them inside, and I went and I even described the whole room the guy was sitting in, and then his response was, "I watch too much TV." Oh, so I'm right.
There we are. So I'm going to pick. Who am I going to pick? Ryan Blaney.
Yeah,
he was looking good at Bristol.
Yep.
So
yep,
that's my pick.
And now speaking of that, something I did forget to say back when we're talking about that first Harvick and Chase Elliott kind of thing,
right?
Because I was kind of someone on the broadcast said it, or I hear someone on the radio say it. So someone I heard say it somewhere, because I was waiting for it too. Once they got together and everyone kind of got in that big huddle, I was waiting for Brad Keselowski to jump in with the little push Harvick a push from behind. Pay back for the Jeff Gordon at Texas.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, it's good to see some tempers flaring up too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why, I don't know. Let's make Martinsville the last race of the season, or Richmond or something.
Mm-hmm. But.
Or hell, why don't we just make Daytona the last race of the year? You want a shit show for the last race of the year.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a lot of wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
And guaranteed that, usually at Homestead, more often than not, one of the final four ends up winning the race to win the title.
Yep.
Not so guaranteed at Daytona.
No. All four guys could be out on lap 3.
Exactly.
So.
Then see that just to hear the booth.
Yep.
Now what you're going to talk about, guys?
Exactly. Yeah.
It'll be all you'll hear. Well, it's anybody's race now. It's anybody's race now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Let's go with that.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've gone over. Perfect.
Yep.
So other than that, anything else news to report? Nothing. I haven't really heard anything.
Rodney Childers signed an extension at Stuart Haas.
And we should mention Booty Barker.
Yes, that's right. Booty Barker back on the box. Booty Barker on the box.
23?
23, yes.
Did not help his luck at Bristol.
No.
Bubba Wallace has a lot of bad luck. I'm not saying he creates it, but he does have a lot. Just as often as not, he gets taken out, or he gets the car that swings down the last second will clip him, or yeah.
So the only thing with Basic Guitar Superstar, the only thing, it's what we disagree on. You want to go back to the old points, but for me, it's that champion could already be crowned right now.
Fine with me. You dominate, you deserve it.
Yeah. Well, let's bring some excitement into it.
Well, hey, look at Gibbs. He still hasn't clinched ARCA.
Yeah. That's because there's only 2 of them that are actually going for it.
Fine. Just saying. He hasn't clinched it yet.
Yeah.
Will be soon, though. I imagine, they got to be wrapping up soon. So
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So next week we'll have race results from Las Vegas and Long Beach, the L&Ls. Yep. And
we're back to the evening because now this starts evening, day.
Well, there we are. Evening, day. Sure. Yep. That works. Till next time, he's Doug. I'm Ben. This has been NasCanucks. Thanks everybody that tuned in. We are the Canadian-based auto racing podcast with a Canadian spin.
Sure.
I really got to get a script.
Yeah, sure. See you, Marcus.